Hello everyone, my name is Michelle Harris Carter and I'm with Harris & Harris Productions. And I'm here today with a friend and client, Mr. Mark Thompson, who is an author, a poet, an activist, and humanitarian. And he's here today to give us some information about a trailer regarding an upcoming docuseries film called Dangerously Sincere. Hi, Mark.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. Happy to have you. Let's talk a little bit about your upcoming docuseries based on your unbelievable life.
Okay.
Okay. Tell us about how Hunter Matz Thompson is affiliated with this name, Dangerously Sincere. We can start with that and then just move our way on through. Okay.
Hunter Matz Thompson is the name that was chosen in order to protect the innocent and the guilty, because the initials are my initials. It just fit right in, and it's basically for, hiding any information that would be
Detrimental in some type of way.
somebody else.
Understandable. So basically, this is a biopic, really, with a couple of goodies thrown in.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well that sounds exciting. I'm really interested in seeing where this all goes. Let's start from the beginning. I know you're from Brooklyn, New York, and you had an excursion, or I don't know if you call it an excursion, expedition to Barbados. I know there was some issues with your health in earlier times, bullies and things like that. Why don't you give us a little background about your early life and how it led, to the different episodes and events that happened later on in life.
Okay. And thank you again for having me. It starts out born with asthma, chronic asthma, and I was in and out of the hospital constantly, to the point where by the age of 3, my parents decided that in order for me to live, they needed to send me to a different climate. So I was sent to Barbados, where my folks are from. My father was from Barbados, and my parents, the parents of my mother, are from Barbados. And I was sent there for 3 years. I was 3 years old at the time, and I had no problems with asthma while I was there. Coming back, it was found that not only was the asthma not gone, but I also had allergies. So that was also a complication. And in between that time, when it came to my sister being in close proximity to me, she was like my first bully, the domestic bully.
Wow.
And that was a result of my mother telling me that I should never hit my sister. So that's what I did. So my sister basically
Had full
sway.
reign.
Yeah. And then Lyle, my younger brother, was born, and I guess I was jealous of his coming on the scene and taking the spotlight off of me. And the thing that I despised, I became.
Wow.
I became a bully with respect to him. And he had asthma that was even worse than mine.
I think you said something about he had to live in a bubble for a while or
Yes,
something like that?
he was living in plastic in the hospital, Kings County Hospital. And I can't recall whether it was the E building or, but I remember we used to go and visit him, and they had to unzip the plastic in order for him to come out and for us to hug him. And he was in there for, I don't know, it may have been 8 months to a year. And that was traumatic, but I didn't even realize how traumatic that was.
Right.
And once he came out, we both continued having problems with asthma, and we'd be back and forth to the emergency room at Kings County. We were like regulars there. And I guess the thing that really clinched it was I had taken him to Sears Roebuck's parking lot one early Sunday morning because the lot is closed, and he had just learned how to handle a two-wheeler. And I took him there so that he could ride his two-wheeler. My mother came a little later, and that was August 17th, 1975. and someone was learning how to drive in the parking lot. And I really didn't pay much attention because it was like that one long car, and it was creeping. And something happened, and I heard a bang, turned around, and Lyle was underneath the car. You know, so I found out later that the driver was learning how to drive, and Lyle went in front of the car with the bike.
Bad combination, bad
Stepped
combination.
on the gas, yeah, instead of the brake. He died that day, and everything after that was kind of like chaos. You know, I never had an opportunity or didn't want an opportunity to speak, and I held that in, and I got so caught up in the trauma that peer pressure took hold, and you know, I wanted to illusionarily like replace him with someone else. So I was hanging out and
Wrong crowds, wrong
Yeah.
places, wrong times.
all of
All of the above,
that.
huh? That's
And
something.
later on, not too long, I think after his passing, I was on the train, New York City subway with some friends, and the straps that you hold on to, I was hanging on them, and I was doing a walk up the wall and do a spin around, and someone pulled the emergency stop, the red cord, and I woke up 10 hours later, with my mother standing over me telling me that, you know, I had been out unconscious for 10 hours.
Wow.
And I was young, so I didn't think anything of it. You know, I was in the hospital for, I don't even know how long I was there. I just remember maybe like a week. And later on, some things started happening that I didn't even attribute to.
Did they tell
This-
you at the time, when you were knocked out for 10 hours and in the hospital for the week or whatever, that this was a traumatic brain injury, or you just,
I can't say.
okay,
Because
maybe they
I don't
told your
remember,
mom, yeah.
I don't remember what was said, you
Mhm.
know. I just know that I turned the situation into fun,
Mhm.
because I remember learning how to do wheelies in a wheelchair. You know, that's what I
Typical
took
kid.
out of that, you know. But later on, not too long after that, a couple of years, I had some situations where I would just black out. You know, I remember two specific incidences where I was accosted by some people. I was being blamed for something that I didn't do, and I was surrounded. And, you know, I felt threatened. And I don't know what happened. I know that they wanted to hurt me, and they were blaming me for something that I didn't do. And all I remember is that when I came to, they were running away from me. All of them.
Whatever you did, it
Yeah.
must have been pretty mighty.
All of them. And somebody had said that I had hit somebody in the face, and
Yeah.
I don't know what else happened. And then a little while later, it may have been a year or two. Matter of fact, it was on my birthday, but I don't remember. It might have been my 16th or 17th birthday. I went to a friend's house, and I was messing with him, and somebody was souping him up to fight me because they had some problems either with me or with him, whatever the case was. And he went for it, and he wanted to fight me for my playing with him.
Instigating and,
Yeah, it was crazy. You know, when I tried to back out of it, as a matter of fact, I left the apartment, went outside, and he followed me out, and so did the individual that was
instigating.
causing this. Yes.
Yeah.
And I was being pushed, and I kept trying to tell him, listen, you know, I don't want to fight you. You know, today's my birthday. I just came to mess with you a little bit. And he pushed me into the car. And the last thing I remember is that when I came to, I was sitting on his chest, and his eyebrows were bleeding. You know, and his brother and the gentleman that was instigating it was standing at the top of the steps, and none of them said anything. You know, they were frozen in place.
It appears that when you have these blackouts, it's because some type of trauma is starting to come. You feel it coming, the stress, and you blank out, and then when you come back, you've done something that you didn't even know what you did. And
Yes.
I brought that up because those were the first two, but the third one was the biggest one. Why don't you tell anybody about what happened with the third one?
Well, the third one was good. I was in the 12th grade, and still a victim to that peer pressure, wanting me down and accepted. And I had cut class with two of my classmates, and the objective, according to them, was to rob somebody, you know, and I was just going to be down because I wasn't really built for that, you know. And I'm hanging out with them, and it was reversed. We went to my old neighborhood, and some people saw that one of the gentlemen that I was with, he had a gold medallion on a gold chain. So they went to rob him. We were in a restaurant at the time, and I was further away from what was going on, and so was the other gentleman. There was three of us. So, long story short is that he was robbed. It turned into, you know, it was violence involved, assault, and I was able to get a gun. And what I did is I tried to slap him.
You got the gun while you were there. You didn't go
Yes.
there with the gun.
No, I got the gun while I was
Okay,
in the
from
restaurant.
somebody. Okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And I stepped into the aisle and saw that there was, you know, tussling going on, individuals were fighting, and I spoke to them, you know, asking them to leave and just like stop what they were doing. But I was small, the gun was small, and you know, it wasn't any threat to anybody. As a matter of fact, an individual from outside of us, it came to me to try to take the gun. And when I mushed him, he went back and, you know, he went back to whatever he was doing. And I tried to get them to stop again by asking them to just leave, you know, leave him alone. And I just blacked out. You know, I don't know what happened. I know that when I came to, they were running out, people were running out of the restaurant, and there was somebody laying in the aisle. And what I did is I just stepped over him, and, you know, I had left. Come to find out he had died, and my family had taken me to the precinct. And I ended up getting 9 to 18 years.
Wow.
I was originally arrested for murder in the second degree. I went to trial by judge and lost, and was convicted of manslaughter in the second degree.
Wow.
I got 9 to 18 years.
So, from what I was told, I think you did 17 of those 18 years.
Yes.
Okay, in 3 or 4 different prisons.